Glad I put the helmet on.
I told you.
Alice Cooper.
Wow.
I'm Matt Damon.
It's Alice.
His name is Alice.
Yeah, his name is Alice.
Why have you summoned me?
He did.
Him.
No, it was him. Yeah, we hear that you are the nice guy of rock and roll.
The godfather of monster rock, Mr. Cooper. Listen, we had no idea you were into all this stuff.
I was always the monster of rock, so I always felt partial to Count Chocula cereal, you know, and Frankenberry cereal, and of course, the Groovy Goolies. Well, I had to watch that.
You're the guy who started all of it. Why do monsters and rock and roll go together?
I always said that rock and roll, horror, and comedy are all in bed together. And I said that from the very beginning. It worked in Rocky Horror Picture Show. It worked in our show. It worked in every form. Those three things, if there's any kind of theater that goes with rock music, it's horror movies. It's big. It's tough sounding. It's mean sounding. It's weird. It's eerie. You can't have horror without comedy.
Do you have a favorite ghoulie, one that you particularly relate to?
I related the most to Drac because he was thin, black hair, gaunt. That was always my character too. So I mean, when I looked at him, I said, no, I'm not the big dumb Frankenstein. I'm not the hip surfer guy, and I'm certainly not the mummy, and I'm not this. I said, nah, Drac is my guy. You know, you have to pick somebody you relate with. You have to identify with one of them. If you were going, in other words, if they were going to call me up and say, we're doing a movie of the Groovy Goolies, we want you to play Drac, I would have said, well, it's me. I am the Johnny Depp of this part.
All right, so Drac's your favorite. How would you describe all the characters?
Frankie was the Rain Man. You know, he was Rain Man. You know, and of course, the Wolfman was Piccoli. You know, he was the surfer, cool dude. And then Drac, he was kind of the brains of the operation. He ran the whole thing.
But overall, what do you feel is so great about the Groovy Goolies?
The Groovy Goolies had this kind of little part of your heart that's nice. It's okay. They're monsters, but they're in a band, and they're okay, and they're kind of Three Stooges, and everything happens to them, and you know, so they're so harmless. You know, there was never any bloodletting in that show. You know, it was like kids could look at the monsters and laugh. You know, that was the charm of it.
So, tell us the truth. Do you actually like the Ghoulies music?
Oh, yeah. But there was always a war between our kind of rock and roll and soft rock. And then there was that whole bubblegum rock. And we got to put the Groovy Goolies into the bubblegum rock, because there was the Ohio's, you know, what was it? There was the Archies, the 1910 Fruit Gum Company. It was all the same guys. It was all the band, different names. And I'm sure the Ghoulies were part of that gang, you know. And that kind of rock and roll really wasn't rock and roll. It was teeny bopper rock. You know, we were supposed to hate it, but we secretly liked it.
I think I'll have some bubble gum.
There were times when my parents wouldn't let me go see horror movies. But if my parents would have seen the Groovy Goolies playing music and running around like the Three Stooges, slipping on banana peels, I said, well, what's wrong with that? You know, they did make the Groovy Goolies into a nice little package, you know.